नमस्कार विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, very good morning. Today we are going to study the working capital management part 2. In this part we have to study cash management, liquidity management, credit management and inventory management. These four types of these management we have to study, which are related with working capital management. Okay, now first part we have to consider here cash management. Working capital management involves management of different types of the components of the working capital. These components of working capital are cash and liquidity, credit management and inventory management. A brief description regarding this component is necessary. Each component involves various issues and therefore their efficient management become imperative. Now in this period we have to study all these components. Okay, now come to the point, cash management. A sound cash management scheme has to be involved and maintained. The liquidity and cost of the funds. The liquidity and the cost of the funds are two major consideration of cash management system. Try to understand. These are two major consideration of the cash management system. Now we have to understand the financial controller. Try to understand. The financial controller or manager has to provide adequate cash to all departments of the organization. He has to see that no funds are blocked in idle cash. A sound cash management scheme has to be evolved and maintained. The liquidity and cost of funds. Try to understand. The liquidity and cost of funds are two major consideration of cash management system. Now we have to understand the exact meaning of the cash. The term cash is used in two senses. In narrow sense, it includes coins, currency notes, checks, bank drafts and paper money held by the firm and demand deposits held by its bank. It means that this is the meaning of the cash in narrow sense. Now in broad sense also we have to understand the term cash. What is the term cash? In broad sense, cash is also includes near cash assets. Try to understand. It includes near cash assets such as marketable securities and time deposits with banks. Such securities or deposits can be immediately sold or converted into cash if it required. Okay, the term cash and liquidity management is generally used for management of both cash and near cash assets. Try to understand. It means that there are two types of the senses for the consideration of cash, meaning of the cash. First sense is there, narrow sense, and second sense is broad sense. In both senses also, what do you mean by cash? The exact meaning of cash in both senses we have studied. Now we have to understand why cash is held. What is the reason for holding the cash? There are distinguishing features of the cash. It is an asset, but idle cash does not earn anything. Try to understand. Idle cash does not earn anything. Yet cash is held by each firm with the different types of the motives. What are the different types of the motives? What are the reasons behind the holding the cash? Those reasons also we have to understand. In this chart I have mentioned 4 reasons for holding the cash. How many reasons are there? 4 reasons for holding the cash. Those reasons are mentioned in this chart. Okay, first reason is there, cash is held by the owner, proprietor or the director for the purpose of business transactions. Try to understand, for completing the business transaction, cash is also essential. Business has to enter into different types of the transactions. Every business transactions result into inflow and outflow of cash. It is necessary to maintain adequate cash balance to meet business obligations. Cash is held by the firm for meeting routine business payment. It means that all such things are done in business transactions, and for completion of the business transactions, cash is held by the business. Okay, then second reason we have to understand, precaution. There are various occasions. Try to understand whatever precaution you have to take as a manager, finance manager. Try to understand, there are various occasions when cash is needed to meet unexpected expenses. Such unexpected events may be floods, strikes, early payments, slowdowns in collections, increase in prices of raw materials, etc. At that time, cash is required, and for the precautionary measure, such type of a cash is held. That's why this is the second reason for keeping the cash in the business, holding the cash in the business, we have to understand. Then third reason we have to understand for keeping the cash, for holding the cash, that is market speculations. A firm has to keep cash balance to take advantage of unexpected opportunities. There are different types of the opportunities available there, and such type of opportunities are expected and unexpected. Such type of unexpected opportunities you have to hunt. At that time, cash is required. Such motive is purely speculative in nature. For instance, a firm may like to take advantage of decline in price of raw material by purchasing more at reduced price. It means that when prices are reduced, at that time business can purchase more material, and such type of a speculation is also essential there, and for that purpose also cash is held by the business. And the last reason we have to understand, that is compensation purpose. Bank provides some services to their clients free of charge. Try to understand. So the clients have to keep minimum cash balance. Clients have to keep minimum cash balance with banks. The idea is to compensate the bank for free services. Such type of idea is there. In this way, there are 4 reasons for holding the cash, and those reasons also we have to understand as a student of business finance. What are those 4 reasons? First reason is business transactions. Second is precaution. Third reason is market speculation. And fourth reason is compensation purpose. Cash is held by the business. Try to understand. Now, what are the objectives of cash management? We have to understand. Why cash management is there? What are main objectives of cash management? Those objectives also we have to understand here. There are 2 basic objectives. How many objectives are mentioned here? There are 2 basic objectives are there. First objective is there. What is it? To meet the cash disbursement. And second objective is there, to minimize the amount looked at, the amount locked up. It means that such amount is also locked up as a cash balances. Okay. It means that these 2 objectives are there of the cash management. Now we have to understand the problems of cash management. What are the problems are there? Those problems also we have to understand for the cash management. There are some problems involved in management of the cash. How many problems are there? Those problems also I have mentioned in this chart. As per my opinion, there are 4 problems are there. How many problems are there? 4 problems of cash management are there. First problem is maintaining cash level. Second is controlling cash inflow. Third problem is controlling cash outflows and investing surplus cash. These are the problems of cash management, and those problems also we have to understand in detail. Now we have to understand what do you mean by liquidity management. The term liquidity means an ability of organization. Try to understand, my friends. The term liquidity means an ability of the organization to realize value in money. It implies conversion of assets into cash during the normal course of business and to have to regular uninterrupted flow of cash. Liquidity means what? Liquidity means availability of money for day-to-day transactions. In another word also we have to understand. Liquidity means availability of money for day-to-day transactions. Another term also we have to understand there. The liquidity means the solvency of the business, and the solvency of the business depends on the availability of liquidity resources. And last point we have to understand, liquidity should be optimum. Try to understand how liquidity should be. Liquidity should be optimum, that neither excess nor less, because excess liquidity means idle funds, while inadequate liquidity resulting in interruption in the business. It means that excess liquidity means idle funds. Try to understand. Excess liquidity means idle funds, and less liquidity means we have to understand that is result in interruptions in business. A proper balance has to be maintained through efficient liquidity management. Try to understand. It means that what is the role of the liquidity manager is here to maintain proper balance of the liquidity. You have to understand. Should be proper balance there. Now we have to understand the need and importance of liquidity management. The need and importance of liquidity management we have to understand. For understanding these points, we have to take the help of different points, and with the help of those points also we can explain the needs and importance of management. And what type of management? Liquidity management, and those points also we have to study. First is there, liquidity gives indications. Try to understand. Liquidity gives indications that firm has capacity to meet short-term obligations. That's why liquidity management is essential. Another importance is also we have to understand, and need is also we have to understand, that is it throws light on efficiency of the collection department. With the help of the liquidity and with the help of the liquidity management, we can understand how collection department is working there, whether that department is working efficiently or not. It means that through the liquidity management we can understand the efficiency of the collection department. Then another point also we have to understand, that is inter-firm comparison can be made on the basis of liquidity. Inter-firm comparison we can make, and such type of comparison can be made on the basis of what? On the basis of liquidity. Then next point also we have to understand, that is timely and early payments to suppliers become possible if you are having sufficient cash. Okay, timely and early repayment, early payment is also possible. Then another thing is also we have to understand, a firm can enjoy the benefit of cash discount. When firm can enjoy benefit of cash discount? Due to the liquidity. If firm is having sufficient cash at that time, such type of benefit also firm can enjoy. What type of benefit? Benefit of cash discount firm can enjoy. Then regular dividend payment to the shareholders can be possible if you are having sufficient liquidity. At that time, regular dividend payment to the shareholders can be possible. Try to understand. Such company is treated more creditworthy and can get loans easily. Such company is treated as a creditworthy company, and such company can get also loan easily from the financial institutions and banks also. Then another thing is also we have to understand for the liquidity management, that is a company with liquidity can take advantage of favorable market conditions. Company with liquidity, it means that there is a good liquidity management at that time. Such type of advantage, what type of advantage? Favorable market conditions, advantage of favorable market conditions that company can get. Okay, then another thing is also we have to understand why liquidity management is essential, what is the importance of liquidity management. That point also we have to understand. A company can meet contingencies or unexpected expenses. It means that there is a possibility of contingencies also and unexpected expenses, and such type of a contingencies and unexpected expenses also company can mean with the help of the such type of a liquidity. Company can meet such type of a contingencies. That's why liquidity management is essential. Now, what are the techniques of liquidity management? Those techniques also we have to understand. There are different types of the techniques. Techniques of liquidity management are there. As per my opinion, there are 5 techniques of the liquidity management. What are those? First, speedy cash collection. It means that the consumer should encourage to pay as quick as possible. The payments from customers should be converted into cash without any delay. It means that such type of a collection of the cash should be in particular speed. That's why speedy cash collection, this type of a technique is also there, and that technique is also useful for the maintaining liquidity. Then a second technique we have to understand, that is develop system for collection. The customer should be notified. Try to understand. The customer should be notified in advance about credit period. Make early billing and offer discounts for early payment. It means that such type of a system for collection should be developed, and this technique is also very essential. Then another technique also we have to understand, that is conversion into cash. When the customers pay the check or drafts, they should be encashed immediately. Postal delays, transit periods and collection time should be monitored. It means that such type of conversion into cash should be speedy, and this technique also you have to use for the liquidity management. Then another technique is also mentioned here, that is centralized banking. Instead of using several banks and branches, centralized banking facilities can expedite the collection account receivables. Try to understand. It reduces, or such type of facility reduces the time needed in collection process. That's why this technique also you can use for the maintaining liquidity. What is the technique? What type of technique is there? Centralized banking technique. And the last technique also we have to understand, slowing disbursement. The cash requirements can be reduced by slow disbursement of the account payable. Payments can be made on the due dates, but not earlier. But it should not harm the reputation of the firm. There are several techniques of slow disbursements. There are several techniques which are used for the slow disbursement. In this way, these are the different 5 types of the techniques of the liquidity management, and with the help of these 5 techniques, liquidity management can be possible. Okay, now we have to study the credit or receivable management. What do you mean by credit or receivable management? Credit or receivable management is the process of controlling and collecting payment from your customers. A good credit management system will help in reducing the amount of capital tied up with debtors and minimize possible bad debts. Try to understand. These are the accounts receivable. Try to understand. These are account receivables and they constitutes significant portion of working capital. Try to understand. Such type of the account receivables constitutes significant portion of working capital. Try to understand. In modern time, trade credits has become an important marketing tools. When the firm sells goods or services on cash, try to understand. When the firm sells goods and services for cash, at that time we have to understand cash requirement is there. More cash is required there. Try to understand. More cash is required there. And if credit, firm is going to sell the goods and services for the credit, at that time payments are postponed to future debts and receivables are created. It means that if firm is disbursing the goods, firm is selling the goods and services on credit, at that time there will be increment in receivables. That's why we have to understand what is the exact meaning of credit or receivable. Now we have to understand what are the objectives of receivable management. The objectives of credit management is to promote sales and control. The credit collection. The credit sales are made with the following purpose. Why credit sales are made? There are different types of the purposes also, and those purposes also we have to understand. It means that objectives of credit sales, objectives of receivable management we have to study. What are the objectives? First objective is growth in sales. If goods are sold on credit, try to understand growth in sales. When growth is possible? When goods are sold on credit, firm is in a position to sell more goods. This is the first objective. Then second objective we have to understand more profits. Increase in sales, try to understand, increase in sales results in high profits for the firm. The firm can charge little more for credit sales than cash sales. Okay? And that is also another objective for the receivable management. And the last objective we have to understand, meeting competition. It means that there are also different types of the situations in the market, and some situation is there, competitive situation also there. Since the other firms resorts to credit facilities, it becomes necessary to grant credit to meet competition. It means that for meeting the competition, such type of a credit should be granted, and for that purpose also receivable management is also required. Credit management is also required. In this way, these are three objectives of credit management or receivable management. Try to understand. Now, different types of the guidelines are also provided there. Before starting the guideline, we have to understand factors determining the size of credit. Different types of the factors you have to determine for the size of the credit. What are those factors? First factor is volume of sales. Volume of sales. Second factor also you have to understand credit policy. And the third factor is also there, terms of credit. In this way, these three factors also you have to determine when you are going to decide the credit policy also. Now, guidelines are provided here for the credit policy. In order to have optimum credit policy, in order to have optimum credit policy, the following guidelines or techniques can be adopted. There are different types of the guidelines are also provided there. As per my opinion, in this chart, there are three types of the guidelines. What are those? Three types of the guidelines. How many are there? Three. And what are those? First is there, calculating average age of receivables. What do you mean average age of receivables? It involves the computation of average collection period. The period so calculated should be compared with the credit period for the entire industry or similar firm. An increase in average age of the receivables or debts collection period is due to lenient credit policy or inefficiency in collection. That's why calculation you have to make, and you have to calculate average age of receivable, and this is the first guideline you have to follow. Second guideline is also provided here, that is preparing aging schedule of receivables. The aging schedule of receivable or inventory can also be prepared. The present balance of receivable can be compared with the previous periods. If there is slackness in the market, also different types of the situations are there. Slack situation may be there, inflation situation may be there, different types of the situations you will find there. And if there is slackness in the debt collection, steps should be taken for speedy collection. Try to understand. If there is a slackness at that time, you have to make efforts, you have to take step for speedy collection from the debtors. That's why preparing aging schedule of receivable, this is also second guideline for the credit policy. And third guideline we have to understand, what is it? Framing policy for managing receivables. A firm should be framed, or firm should have to frame receivable or credit policy considering both benefits and cost. These policies relate to credit standards, credit terms, and collection procedure. Credit standards present the basic criteria for the extension of credit customers. Extending credit period, increasing sales. Try to understand. If you are going to extend your credit period, at that time your sale will be increased. But what will happen? But the cost is more. In this way, you have to frame the policy for managing the receivables carefully. These are three types of the guidelines provided for the credit policy. Try to understand. Then inventory management, we have to understand. What is the exact meaning of inventory management? Inventories are the stock. Try to understand. Inventories are the stock of goods held by a firm in various forms. The purpose of inventory stock is ultimately selling. The purpose of inventory stock is ultimately selling the goods. Ultimately selling the goods. It means that purpose we have to understand first. Inventories are a major element of concern. Try to understand. Inventories are the major element of concern to the management. They help the firm in obtaining the desired level of sales. Try to understand. It means that such type of inventory, such type of levels you have to maintain. Try to understand. There are different types of the levels of the stock also, and those levels you can understand in issue of materials. In that store register, in that stock register also, you will understand there are different types of the levels for the inventory management. Try to understand. Now, we have to understand the benefits of inventory management. Before starting the benefits of the inventory management, we have to understand what is the classification of inventory management. What are the types of the inventories? Those types also we have to understand. Inventory can be classified into three categories. How many categories are there? Possible categories are there. Three categories. First, raw materials. second, work in progress, and the third, finished goods. Try to understand. There are three types of the inventories are there, and those three types of the inventories requires good management. The inventory level of the above three types of the inventories depends upon the nature of business. For instance, a manufacturing firm will have all the above kinds of the inventories. If your firm is manufacturing firm, at that time there are different types of the inventories. Raw material may be there, work in progress may be there, and finished goods may be there. Such type of different types of the inventories are there. The wholesaler or retailer will maintain inventory of only finished goods. They will have no inventory. Wholesaler and retailers will have no inventory of raw materials and work in progress. Try to understand. In this way, these inventories are classified into three classes. How many classes are there? Three classes, and those classes are also named as first, raw materials, second, WIP means work in progress, and the last, finished goods. In this way, these are the different types of the inventories. Okay. Now we have to understand what are the benefits of inventory management. There are different types of the benefits are possible there of the effective inventory management. What are those benefits? First benefit we have to understand, maintaining proper inventory level. Maintaining proper inventory level or inventory management, different types of the advantages can be there. And first advantage or first benefit of inventory management we can study here, that is a firm can avoid any losses of customers. It means that there is no possibility of loss of customers. Try to understand, if there is good inventory management. Such type of loss can be avoided by the firm, and this is the first benefit. Second benefit also we can understand, the ordering cost can be reduced. Ordering cost can be reduced if the firm makes bulk purchases. If firm is going to purchase in bulk, at that time there is no need for giving number of orders. There is no need for placing number of orders. It means that there is a possibility of reduction of cost of purchase, cost of ordering. Okay, and this type of a benefit is also there for of the good inventory management. Next benefit is also possible there, that is adequate stock of inventory. Adequate stock of inventory ensures smooth production. If you are having adequate stock of inventory, at that time what is the possibilities there? Smooth production is possible there, and this type of a benefit also firm can enjoy. And the last benefit we have to study here, that is large inventories help the firm in reducing the setup cost. Okay, setup cost is also there, and that setup cost should be reduced. But when it is possible, if you are having large inventories, at that time it is possible. Try to understand. In this way, these are the different types of the benefits of inventory management. Now we have to study the second side of the coin, that is drawbacks of inventory management. What are the drawbacks of inventory management? There are some risks or costs involved in inventory of the goods or management. And those drawbacks also we have to study. If the price declines due to more supply, the firm may suffer. First drawback is there. If the price declines due to the more supply, the firm may suffer. Then second drawback also we have to study, if inventory is held for a long time. Try to understand. If the inventory is held for long term or long time, there is a possibility of loss, because time is long, period is long. At that time definitely there will be possibility of loss, and this type of a drawback also we have to understand. Then next drawback we have to study, that is inventory may become obsolete or outdated due to change in customers' taste or preferences. It means that definitely you will find there is a change in the market also. Lifestyle is also going to change. Customer demands are also going to change, and such type of changes are included in the market. At that time, inventory may become obsolete or outdated due to the change in customers' taste or customers' preferences. That's why this is also third drawback of the inventory management we have to study. And the last drawback we have to study, what is it? The cost of maintaining and storing inventory will be high. The cost of maintaining and storing inventory will be high because inventory proportion is also more. And this type of drawback also we have to understand. In this way, we have studied the benefits of inventory management and drawbacks of inventory management. Now, we have to study the scope of inventory management. Try to understand. Scope of inventory management. It means that in inventory management, different aspects are covered. And those aspects also I have given here in this slide. How many aspects are there? There are 8 aspects which are covered in the inventory management. Try to understand. Stock of inventory is major component of working capital. My friends, don't forget at all that the stock of inventory is a major component of working capital. It is said that good inventory management is a good financial management. Good inventory management is a good financial management. Hence, it is necessary to keep watch on the level of inventory. Always and always you should have to keep the watch on the levels of the inventory. Inventory management covers several aspects. Different types of the aspects are there, and those aspects also we have to understand in the scope of inventory management. What are those aspects? First aspect is there. What is it? Fixing minimum and maximum stock level. You have to fix minimum and maximum stock level. Also, you have to decide the size of inventory. Then also you have to consider the issue price. It means that you have to decide about issue prices of the material. Then setting up receiving and inspection procedure. You have to set up the receiving and inspection procedure also. How you can receive the material and how you can inspect the material, what is received already, and that inspection is also essential here. Why inspection is also essential? Because whether you are receiving that material according to the order or not, as per the requirement or not, such type of inspection is also required there. Okay, then determining economic order quantity. You have to calculate economic ordering quantity, and such type of a quantity also is important aspect, and that is also involved, that is also included in the inventory management. Also providing proper storage facility. You have to provide proper storage facility. That storage facility should be proper. Why I am saying this? Because wherever and whenever some material is required, it should be available without wasting time. It should be available easily. Immediately that material should be available. That's why you have to provide proper storage facility, and also you have to control the obsolescence. Okay, and setting up effective information system. Your information system should be effective. It means that how much stock is also available with you. That information, if management is required, that information should be made available within fraction of second. Within few minutes such type of requirement should be available. Within short period also such type of information should be available. In this way, these 8 elements, these 8 aspects are included in the scope of inventory management. Try to understand. Now we have to understand the different techniques of inventory management, and those techniques also we have to study. There are different types of the techniques which are included in inventory management. How many techniques are there? 4 techniques are included there. First, deciding economic order quantity. You have to decide economic order quantity. The quantity of inventory to be ordered has to be decided. It refers to the size of the order which is economical. Economic order quantity is fixed on the basis of ordering cost and inventory carrying cost. It means that ordering cost is also considered and inventory carrying cost is also considered. Ordering cost is the cost of placing an order. Sorry. Ordering cost is the cost of placing an order for inventories, and inventory carrying cost is the cost of keeping or storing the item in the stock. The first is cost of acquiring, while second is cost of holding the inventory. It means that you have to decide economic order quantity, and this is the first technique of the inventory management. Now second technique is also given here, that is fixing optimum production quantity. What is it? Optimum production quantity. It is necessary to fix the optimum production quantity by considering the cost involved in the process. There are two main costs involved in the process. How many? Two main costs are there. First is the setup cost and second is the inventory carrying cost. This setup cost is in the nature of fixed cost, try to understand, and is to be incurred at the start of each production process. When the size of production run is more, at that time setup cost per unit become less. But the carrying cost increases when the size of production is more. It means that you have to fix the optimum production quantity. You have to fix the optimum production quantity, and this technique is also essential. Then third technique is also used there. What is it? Sorry. Determining reorder level. Try to understand. After fixing the economic order quantity or optimum production quantity, it is important to decide when to order new stock. Reorder level is the level of inventory at which firm place an order. Try to understand. Reorder level is the level of inventory at which firm places an order. If the order is placed at this level, the new stock will arrive before the firm runs out of the stock. In order to determine reorder level, the firm has to consider lead time and usage rate. Lead time refers to the time required for the receiving of the goods after the order. It means that in store ledger or store controlling also such type of a reorder level you will find there. And such type of a determination of reordering level, this is also third technique which is used in inventory management. And the last technique we have to study, that is scheduling of old inventory. Old inventories are also there, and such type of inventories should be scheduled systematically. It becomes necessary to classify the inventory according to its age. This enables identifying inventories that are moving slowly into production or sales. The inventories can group on the basis of its date of purchase or date of manufacture. Then steps should be taken to clear the inventories. Old and outdated inventories loses value and the firm has to suffer such type of loss. That's why you have to prepare the schedule of old inventory also. In this way, these are the different techniques of inventory management. What are those techniques and how many techniques are there? There are 4 techniques of inventory management, and those techniques also we have to understand. And what are those techniques? First technique is there, deciding economic ordering quantity. Second technique, fixing optimum production quantity. Third is there, determining reorder level. Fourth is there, scheduling of old inventory. In this way, these are the different techniques of inventory management. In this way, we have to study in detail the different types of the techniques also, scope also, and classification also, classification of inventory also, and different types of the managements also. In this way, this information is sufficient as per my opinion about the working capital management. And if any difficulty will be there, you can contact with me. Okay, thank you very much.